Welcome back to AthsTV. Cam Luke here, Danny Stevens and Matt Lynch. And of course, a big weekend in the world of athletics. It happens on Friday night. The Hunter Track Classic starts at 6 p.m. If you can't be there, foxsports.com.au/live to get into it, because it's going to be an exciting night. And honestly, when it comes to weird distances, the 600 metre is one we don't often talk about, but two of the most athletic and exciting athletes we've got right now are Joseph Deng and Peter Bol, and they're going to go head-to-head to try and break the national mark, and it's going to be fun to watch. Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting. I was actually there for when Lachlan Renshaw set the Australian best. It was down at Sydney Olympic Park. Got a bit of help from Tristan Garrett. They went through in about 48.6, and it was a brilliant run. And I think if anyone's going to have a dig at that best, it's going to be these two. I know they're going to get pushed by a couple of specialist 400 metre runners, but my pick, I think Joey Deng's going to take it out. Well, who does it favour? Like, is it a 400 metre? Because we'll talk Morgan Mitchell in a moment, and of course she steps up in distance. But is it suit the 400 metre runners, or does it suit the 800 metre runners, who of course, and that's the intrigue, I guess, with it. Yeah, exactly. I think I'm just going to take both. It suits an 8 runner. Don't sit on the fence, mate. Who's going to win and who does it suit? Who can do a good 4? Okay. I know Peter Bol does have a quicker 400 metre PB, only just, but Joey Deng ran 47.25 in 2016, and his 8 PB was 147.9. He's running 144.2 now. So you'd think that even if you take a little bit off his 400 PB, he's going to be in that 46-second range. And I think he can go through in sub 48. And I think that's really going to stretch the field out, and he's got the strength to bring it home. As seen by, he did a 1,500 metres the other day and went 3:44.21. For people who may not have seen a 600 metre race, and I'm sure there's probably a few of them around, how does it work with the lanes? How does it work with the starts? Are there starting blocks out there? How does it all work? Because there could be athletes who have differing ways to which they start this race. Yeah, and I think there's actually going to be a B race, because it's a big field, and you don't want, if they're going to do, say, a curved start, you don't want 20 guys all just crashing into each other into lane one. They may stay off the 200 metres, run 100 metres in their lanes, and then cut in. And I have seen Tamsin Manu and Custer Semenya do one out of blocks. So I really could just be user's choice. I don't know. I would like to see someone bring the blocks out. I know, Danny, we'll talk about the 600 metres and the women shortly, but firstly, just on the field too, because you are our field expert here, and there's a couple of high-profile athletes making their 2019 debut. Yeah, of course. I'm always for the field events. Hamish Peacock is looking to compete in the javelin, and one I'm most excited about is Damien Birkenhead in the shot put. He was 5th at these Commonwealth Games. He's the Australian record holder. It's his season opener for 2019. So he now holds all 4 junior and senior Australian records. So very much looking to see what he can do this weekend. When you hold Australian records, when you're the best of the discipline and you're the right person to ask, are you excited? Are you nervous going to a year like this where you've got a World Championship and an Olympics on the horizon? How would he be feeling as he goes to open it up? Yeah, it's a really big year. It's a big 18 months, as you said. I know for me, my first competition of the season, I'm always pretty nervous because you've done so much work and you're kind of guessing as to where you are, and it's really exciting, actually. My first one is always the most exciting, so I think Damien will be ready and pumped up for this one. Carly Thomas, so we get to 600 metres for the women, silver medal in the 800 metres at the World Juniors, and of course Morgan Mitchell, who steps up from the 400 to the 600, as we see Carly here on screen getting the silver medal. This is, yet again, intrigue around it. Will it suit the 400 metre runner? Will it suit the 800 metre runner? A young woman who's in wonderful form compared to an athlete who's had a pretty good couple of years. This will be really good to watch. Well, they've both kind of dabbled in the opposite event. So Morgan's actually been starting to run a couple of 8s this season, and Carly was part of the 4x4 team that got silver, and she actually split, even though she has a PB of 53.9, she actually split 51.5. So she has got that speed. So it's going to be tricky whether Morgan takes it out hard and tries to burn the speed off Carly, or whether Carly slows it down. I don't know whether it will be a tactical race, but Tamsin's record is going to be really, really hard. She was a class runner, so that's going to be a hard one to take down, but I'm probably leaning towards Carly to take it out, but it depends. The experience of Morgan could really push the pace. 8 months off as we look towards the 1,500 metre for Luke Matthews. What a wonderful run he had when he got the bronze in the 800 metres on the Gold Coast. We spoke a little bit about pressure. When you perform so well in front of your home fans, or just at a major event like you've done many times, and the pressure escalates and there's more, I guess, the standard set that you've done it yourself from the fans and the media and everyone watching, how do you deal with that? In particular, we've had a little bit of time away. Yeah, it's well, I think if you get back to why you're there, what you're doing it for, and your goals that you've set, I think you can just stay pretty grounded. It's been a massive, past 10 months for Australian athletics having a home games.
on the Gold Coast. So I think for everybody, you know, they've had a really, it was quite an interesting season. So people would have had a long time to go through a lot of deep, hard strength training. So it's going to be really interesting to see what people can do leading into this 2019, and because it is such a long season until the Doha World Championships in October. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of interesting performances. Confidence
isn't something he's lacked, so even though he's at 8 months off the track, I'm sure that he'll be fairly confident going into this event.
Yeah, in 2016, he came off falls and ran a 1:46 maybe and a half, and he was jogging, pointing to the crowd, and was like, "What are you doing, mate?" And then, you know, a couple of weeks later, he ran 1:45.1 behind Rhodesia. So he's got a bit of history at Hunter. Depending on how he wants to run, Jordan Gusman's in the field as well. He ran 3:43 only the other day, and there's another young kid, actually Luke Young. He's a local, Newcastle. He's only 17. He ran 3:45 flat. So this is also a comp that Joey Dang sort of stepped up back in 2016. So I think it's a great one for those young guys to get a little taste when, you know, the elite guys, you know, aren't just in their peak performance yet. So it gives them a little bit more confidence instilled in them and could really set them up for the future.
It's an intimate meet. I think one of you off air told me it's called the People's Meet. I'm not sure which one it was. It might have been you, Matt. Just competing at it and being at there. And there are many people who, as we get into a long weekend, are looking for something to do. And there's some absolute, you know, high quality athletes going to be competing. How much fun is it to be there, not only to watch what happens in the track and the field, but also the festivities around it? You would have competed at?
Yeah, I've had several competitions at the Hunter Track Classic, and I think it's, like you said, intimate is a really good word. The crowd is amazing. I think for our competition, they brought them onto the field behind a barrier, but they were very close to the discus cage. So that was amazing, having people congratulating you and clapping and cheering. And I think there's lights and fireworks, and I think there was a Hummer there one time as well, a big car that kind of came out and
just circled.
Yeah, yes, the athletes kind of emerged out of that and got a really big cheer. So similar to how the Com Games was introduced last year. So for me, I've really great memories at the Hunter Track Classic. So the athletes will definitely have fun. So if you're around the Newcastle area, get out there and cheer them on. It's going to be a big year.
600 metres, it's a very rare event. We're going to see Peter Boyle and Joseph Dean go at it. Who wins, and do they break the national mark?
I think Joey Dean can do it. Dean Fever.
Both ways? He breaks the mark as well? 1:15.14?
They've got to go out pretty hard. So it's whether they've got the ticket to do it. I think they do.
Well, Matt's still sitting on the fence here. At least he gave us a winner, so we'll cop that. If you are in the region, head down because it is a wonderful event. If you're not, foxsports.com.au/live to check out the Hunter Track Classic from 6 p.m. Friday night.